Hey, my name is Artem. I'm a non-native English speaker, and I went from B1 to C1 in 1 year without living abroad. So this video is a recording of a webinar I did inside my private community, and in this recording, I will tell you what is stopping you right now and what you need to do in order to become fluent in 1 year. Enjoy. So the problem right now does feel like relatable for you guys. So it still feels hard to learn English. Like you're still making mistakes, maybe. You still maybe feel shy of your accent, right? You still fear making mistakes in front of other people, maybe, right? So it kind of feels difficult, kind of feels hard. Sometimes you can't really articulate your thoughts in a good way. It's like you know English, you understand English, but talking about your ideas is hard. It can be hard, right? So maybe you want to start a business, maybe you want to talk with native speakers, maybe you want to start traveling, maybe get a good job, but it just seems impossible, right? So, guys, does it feel relatable? Can you maybe say or comment in the chat?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. That's great. That's great. So, it could be literal trauma. So, like, bear with me, okay? So, there's like the thing called childhood trauma, right? So, childhood trauma starts in childhood, right? So, it's like your parents say to you that we don't have money, son. You're a failure. Like, I wish you were not born, right? Or something like this. Or maybe like, don't talk to Timmy, right? Because he's a bad guy, right? And it's like you have this trauma for the rest of your life and you avoid Timmys, let's say. Or maybe you're scared of dogs when you were a child, right? So, there's a lot of things that could happen. Or maybe let's say your friend says to you that she doesn't like you and so you develop like social anxiety and stuff, right? So this is trauma in childhood, and it's like also like I'm not good enough or something like this. So this is like trauma in childhood, but it also could be English trauma, right? So it sounds just the same as childhood trauma, because like in school or maybe somewhere else where you've been like learning English before, people say to you, don't say it this way, say it this way instead. You have bad pronunciation, your English like sucks, you're a bad student. And maybe they say to you that that's wrong, like don't say that, they say it this way instead, right? And so you develop this fear, you develop this fear of making mistakes, you develop this fear of just speaking in English. It becomes harder for you to articulate your thoughts because you start thinking about English, right? You're not thinking in English, you're thinking about English. So it becomes a lot more difficult. And you just start thinking that, well, I will never become fluent. So it could be because of school, right? Maybe you learned that back in school. It was like super depressing in school. Maybe you had a good teacher, but still it was kind of boring. You were always punished for mistakes, and so maybe you had like this English trauma when you were a child, or maybe when you started learning English, right? So a famous expert in teaching English, like this guy named A.G. Hogue, right, said that psychology is more important than grammar and vocabulary when it comes to learning English. So I completely agree with his statement because, well, it's like if you have the wrong mindset or the wrong psychology, if you think bad things about your English, well, you're not going to become fluent, right? So it's more important to actually develop the right psychology, the right mindset when it comes to learning English, and also like get rid of your English trauma or childhood trauma, right? So do you really need therapy to become fluent? That's a good question. And there's like a thing called dog therapy. Yeah, that's a funny picture. It's like some people say that they're scared of dogs. Maybe that came from childhood. Like you when you were a child, you said that, well, I'm scared of dogs. I can't uh I can't go out with your dog because it's so scary. Like I don't want to see dogs and stuff, right? And so, but then after 30 days, it's like if a person spends 30 days with dogs, he does like some stuff with them, maybe plays with them, maybe goes out with them for walks, right? Or maybe does some different activities. He is going to completely change his opinion about dogs and attitude about dogs. He's going to think that, oh well, they're so cute. I love dogs. I love playing with dogs. They're so like cute. I want to hug them. I want to pet them. I want to be with them. Right. So it's a completely different thing. And well, with English, it's literally the same thing, right? So it's like when I started learning English, I was honestly scared of English. So it's like this is me. This is my photo when I was on the first call, right? When I was doing like the first call online, and I was super nervous. I was sweating literally, like I had sweat dripping from my face, right? And I just wanted to end the call. I just honestly, I was like, I just want to kill myself at this. I was just wanting to kill myself at this moment, you know? I felt really awkward. But then after 30 days of speaking in English, I just completely changed, right? So I created my own community. I started speaking to people in English, and now I just can't stop speaking in English, you know? It's like sometimes people just can't, um, how do I say? Yeah, it's like I just can't stop. I just can't stop speaking in English. I do it all the time instead of speaking in my native language because it's just more comfortable for me now. So it's like I went through this therapy and it was just like speaking for 30 days in front of other people and on camera as well. But especially when I started speaking to people, like that's what really helped me. So I went on a lot of calls. One time I literally baked um pancakes on the call with guys. So there's like a picture, the left one, right? Also, I did a lot of calls in my community, with my mentor, with my students, and stuff like that, right? And so that completely changed how I view English learning, right? So the real lesson here was the fact that it's not just about like talking to ChatGPT or talking on camera or recording videos on YouTube. It's about real practice. Because first I was scared to speak English. Like I spoke English for 1 hour per week. Then I became a bit more productive when I created my own YouTube channel, when I started speaking to ChatGPT, when I started speaking on camera, and I was still scared to speak with other people. It was still difficult for me. So I could spend a bit more time on learning English. I spend 2 hours per week. So I was recording my videos. So that's why I spent a bit more time speaking in English, right? But then something changed, something transformational happened, and I had unlimited motivation. I had no barriers for learning English, and I could speak English 14 hours every day, right? I found a way, I found a cheat code how to do that, right? And so the thing that actually helped me was the community, right? So it's like I made this video about 14 hours a day, how to speak English 14 hours a day, and stuff like that. And it's just because I've created my own community, right? So I said in this video that I've created my own community where I started talking with people, and that's how I was able to speak 14 hours a day. So before I had a community, I couldn't speak English, but with the community, that's when I like started speaking, right? So it's like you don't need a therapist, or we don't need a therapist, we need a community, right? So I mean we are a part of the community right now, right? And so here's what other people actually did in our community. So David, right, he joined our community a few months ago, and he started going on calls. So he was not super confident when I went on the first call with him. Sometimes I didn't understand him, sometimes he didn't understand me, so it was a bit difficult to understand each other, right? But now he talks to native speakers every day, and he's actually growing his own business, you know? He has his own business. I mean, he's kind of only on the first steps right now, but you know, he made a lot of progress. And so that's really awesome for him, right? And it's just because he joined the community and just started going on calls, started actually talking with real people, not just with ChatGPT, right? So also Miguel, Yevdokim, yeah, Yevdokim, um, Saver, Sam, and Apollonian were also not confident speaking in English, right? But when they found our community, I mean, Yevda Kim was recording videos before our community, I believe, but he started posting more consistently after he joined, right? So it's like they found our community and they recorded their first video in English, and it's no longer a problem for them to speak on camera. I mean, maybe it's still a problem, but now they just don't feel that same level of they don't feel like the same hidden wall. They don't feel like there's like a big barrier, right, for them. So when they found our community, they recorded their first video in English, and now they feel a lot more confident, right? Talking to people, talking on camera, and like, can you imagine like they created their own YouTube channel, and in a couple of months, there's going to be thousands of people who watch them. So it's like an entire stadium of people who watches them speak in English, right? And they were not confident to begin with, right? And they couldn't speak fluent English. So also Mateus. So we have a guy in our community. His name is Mateus. And on the first call, it was really awkward, right? Our first call was a bit awkward when we started, right? But then, in a couple of months, when he joined the calls, when he started speaking to real people, not just to ChatGPT and stuff, he sang the song Viva la Vida on camera, like in English, and made a post about this. Like, this is just crazy. The level of confidence that he gained is just amazing, right? He was able to sing a song in English without a problem, right? I mean, he did make mistakes when he was singing, but it was still something awesome, right? So others did it too, like other people, Hugo, Henrik, Krishna, Michelle, Sabrina, Huong, Ilyas, Thomas. So who is on the call today? I guess Nico. Yeah, like a lot of people, as you can see, a lot of people are did it. They improved their English. Like probably you have your own story to tell, right? And so also, it's like it wouldn't happen without the internet, right? So the communities are so powerful because there's internet, right? So we can connect together worldwide, literally. So, a couple of weeks ago, actually 2 weeks ago, one of our community members, and she was a subscriber of my channel, Kate, wrote me a message, not a message, but like a comment on one of my YouTube videos, and she said that, "Are you planning to do any meetups here locally?" So, in say in my town, right? And we literally met each other in real life. We practiced our English and had a really good time together. So yeah, it's really awesome when you can actually like meet people in real life and just talk to them in English. Like that's when you become confident and fluent in English and you just stop fearing speaking in English, right? And so I did the same thing with my friends. I found them on a self-improvement community online. So it was a community about self-improvement and it was in English, right? So we literally met each other in real life. We rented a house together and we were living in this house. We were practicing our English. We were talking about different stuff in English, right? We had a job. We we were developing our different ventures, businesses and stuff like that. We were going on runs, going to the gym and stuff. So it was super fun, right? So this is the power of internet. And actually, to heal your English trauma, what you need to do is to first forget about grammar, forget about school, forget about all of that stuff, right? Because it's a thing of the past, right? Now people actually learn English with a different method, right? They immerse themselves in English. Then just be positive about learning English, because if you think that, oh, well, I can't learn English, it's going to take me a couple of years, I don't know, I'm not confident, I'm an introvert, I can't do that. It's like, of course you can't do that because you're negative about this, right? But as soon as you become positive, as soon as you say that, well, maybe I'm nervous a bit when I'm speaking, but maybe I'm not nervous, I'm actually excited to speak, right? It feels exciting for me to speak in English. And so just be positive, then find a community of people. So in your case, guys, you are a part of our community, right? So this is the step you've completed already, right? So it's like all these three steps, you've completed them, right? And there's also the third step, which is work together on one goal, right? So working together on one goal is really important, right? Because when you don't have a goal, it's like you just don't know what to do, right? It's like, of course we all have the same goal, which is to learn English, but we're working separately. We all practice English in our own home. We don't talk with each other when we're practicing English. Maybe we go on speaking calls, but we definitely need an update for this, right? So let's unite, let's work together on one goal, literally, like let's like climb a mountain or do something, right? So then I talked about the updates inside of the community. So if you're interested, you can check it out in the description. And I hope you really enjoyed this video. Comment down below what is your favorite tip or your favorite advice you got from this video. Subscribe, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.